Welcome back to Sports Fish. It's your host, Sabo Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. Ballers League talk. As always, let's get into the league talk. Last time I talked about the league, we were still technically talking play-in situation, and I think it was the Clippers. I was right on one game and I was wrong on one. It was the Clippers, Pelicans, Hawks versus Cavaliers. I was right on both games. I mean, right, right on one, wrong on one. That's right on the Pelicans game, right or wrong on the Pelicans game, right on the Hawks win. Which I think that was the game where Clint Capella got injured. Actually, Clint Capella might have gotten injured before that game. I'm not 100, or was it during that game? It was one of the two situations. But they still got it done. But then, as you guys saw, I didn't actually predict or talk about the games after that, which they just pretty much got straight up blown out or dominated by Jimmy B and the boys, the Miami boys. So that wasn't too great for them. But Trey was saying that he ain't too worried about that. They'll hopefully make a comeback. But we'll see about that. With no Clint Capella, it's kind of like, does this Atlanta Hawks team have any hope? I mean, with Trey Young, they still have Johnny Bones Collins. Johnny Bones Collins, that sounds terrible. John Collins, making him sound like Jon Snow, but John's Collins. I said it again. Um, but the Pelicans Clippers game. Clippers, y'all disappointed me 2 games in a row. I expected them to beat the Timberwolves. What I predicted was Timberwolves were going to lose to the Clippers and then they were going to beat the Pelicans, which I guess I was technically, still right about Spurs losing. I was wrong about Pelicans. I mean, Pelicans, I already knew they were a good team. I just didn't think they'd actually be this good against. But then again, before I had predicted, or this was after, I predicted, and then a day later, it came out that Paul George had COVID-19. Sure, that's how it went down. But yeah, that happened, and then I'm like, oh man. And they still had a really good chance of winning. I mean, look at the scoreboard. It was 101, 105. So yeah, that happened. One of the shockers that I could see happening. I actually brought up good reasons why it could happen, but I still chose the Grizzlies to win the game. I'm sure I chose the Grizzlies to win the game. I chose the Jazz to win the first one, and I was correct on that one. But that one was kind of easier. I knew that Luka was out. Everybody knew that Luka was out, so that was much easier. This one is just like it's a bunch of young talent. This is one of them games where I expected it to be closer, but it wasn't closer. I mean, I don't know. All around team just didn't do enough. I don't know. Maybe if it was because they had the longer break compared to the Timberwolves. They had the 2 playing games, but they had the 1 playing game against the Clippers. Maybe that helped out. I'm not sure, but they got a dub. I chose the Warriors over the Nuggets, which I was correct on. I I'm sure I chose the 76ers. I did choose the 76ers. So I was correct on 3 of these in game round one, and then it went down a little bit because I think I had the Hawks win it. No, actually, I that was one of the things. The playing games, I think I put out the video before the playing game, so I didn't get the chance to talk about this one. Um, Nets Celtics. I did choose the Nets, and the game was down to 13 seconds. So how wrong was I? I really wasn't that wrong. If the game came down to that little amount, for God's sakes. So I was pretty late on that. I would have gone. I'm pretty sure I would have gone Suns in this one. I mean, then again, sometimes against in this one, I should have easily gone for the Bucks, but then again, the Bulls put up a really good fight. Like in the beginning, it was like it was terrible. It was terrible, ladies and gentlemen. In the beginning, it was all like it just looked like they were about to get blown out, but out of nowhere they just started balling. You know, Vooch started hitting some threes. Just everybody else started playing their roles. Derrick Jones Jr. actually started playing a good amount of ball against old boy Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, whatever. I was about to re-say his name, but we'll stay away from that. Game two, Raptors 76. I didn't make any predictions, so none of these games I made any predictions on. I think I would have actually went Jazz again because I knew that, as everybody knew that old boy was out, and Raptors, as we know, the injury to Scotty B. So I probably would have gone with 76ers again, knowing the injury to Scotty B. He's a big factor in their team. Because they actually ended up playing much smaller than they had to. You know, with Scotty B, he's technically a power, but he pretty much plays a center. Um, so I didn't make any calls on either the Nuggets game either. Dan Vooch was, I mean, Vooch, Jokic was actually getting really mad during the whole game. Just nothing was really working for them. If you guys got to catch any of it, the thing is that I don't know the way they scheduled all the games, so you get to catch the best parts of the game, which is that's how it's scheduled today too, for the Miami Heat game. I'm not gonna predict any of these because I'm gonna be releasing the video. I could just do it today, but by the time I release it, it's some one of these games is already gonna start, so it's like no point of these games today. So I'm gonna go ahead and predict. So that was pretty much the recap, and now I'm just gonna do a little prediction until I think I'm gonna do all the way until Friday, since that's the thing that sucks. If any injury happens, then you know my prediction is my prediction. You know I don't really can't take no back, and it's whatever, man. I'll accept it. I'll accept my losses. Losses and wins, I guess. But man, Jalen Brunson was going off, man. I was talking good about him. I was talking mad good about JP as well, Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole also went off yesterday, man. The third Splash brother, and his last name is Poole. Some call him Mini Curry, but man, Jordan Poole can ball. Somebody else that was Spencer Dinwiddie has worked out perfect for Dallas Mavericks. But then again, I believe that frickin' Gabagoo, the frickin' Donovan Mitchell and the boys blew that one. To be honest, if any, I mean they did blow that game because they had a pretty good lead with only like a minute or two left, and three what was it like three, and you just see, you know, when you see something happening, you're just like, oh man, this is like, because they were on such a good run for so long, you're like, they're not gonna keep it up, and they didn't. It just the bubble burst, ladies and gentlemen. The bubble burst. The bubble burst. It's a bunch of some gibberish for y'all, but some good games today. Miami Heat versus Hawks. Even though I'm technically not predicting, I'm good. This is pretty much a prediction within a prediction within a prediction. Um, I see that. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Heat winning it since the Hawks just didn't look so good. It's a little bit easier to predict when you know you see one game and you see how it went down. And plus with Clint Capella I believe is a big part. I would not be shocked if the Hawks win. You know if Trey the Truth has himself a 50 piece or a 40 piece, then like it's not that hard to believe that they would win. But then again, Miami Heat is just so talented. It's like it's crazy how much amount of talent. Their six man is technically a star. They got a couple of people that are bench players that are starters on other teams easily, without a doubt. The Grizzlies versus this game, I don't see it. See, I'm predicting. I said I wouldn't predict on these games. Contradict myself, ladies and gentlemen. It's all right. It's all right. Um, but I see the Grizz winning that one. I don't see them. Man, it's there's so much talent on both teams. It's hard. This is one of the harder ones. I do believe it is one of the harder ones. That one. Um, a lot of these. I mean, this is the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. It's supposed to be hard to predict these. It's not supposed to be easy to predict these games. Like, I mean, the 76ers Raptors game is probably the easiest one right now. That one and the Dallas Maverick one, because they're two of their biggest stars are out. You know, Scotty Barnes and Luka Doncic. But I'm gonna go with the Grizz. I don't think the Grizzlies are missing anybody. I don't know if John Moran is still dealing with that injury he had in the beginning or end of the season. I feel like that's been a big part, but also Dylan Brooks was dealing with an injury the whole season that slowed him down. I believe if those situations didn't happen, I don't believe that the Timberwolves beat them. To be honest, Pelicans Suns. I'm gonna go with the Suns again because just from what we saw, they just couldn't hang with them. Everybody just looked down. The coach just looked like he was out of it. Everybody just like, damn, we out yo. We ain't doing too much and we ain't doing nothing. Celtics versus Nets. That game was so close. This is a 50-50 for me, and I'm going to go ahead and go with the Nets again because I just don't, even though they got DOP, defensive player, or DOY, defensive player of the year, the Smart Master, Marcus Smart, they still don't have Robert Williams, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the Nets. I feel like the Nets are just going to go for, it's going to be a close. I'm going to say it's going to be close. Boston or Celtics, Boston or New York. But I'm gonna go with the Nets. Hopefully they don't mess with my percentage of over 500 because I feel like I am over 500. Not too far from under, but whatever. 76ers Raptors, easy 76ers. Just they had way too much for them and just nothing was working for them, to be honest. I was somewhat disappointed in game two. I really was, a lot of disappointment because I expected them, even with Scotty, I expected them to put up a little fight. Maybe I could choose them in one of these games, but no. I think I said the Bulls game could be a sweep, but or there was another game I said that could be a sweep, but the 76ers game or the 76ers series is looking like it's going to be a sweep. That one, and there's another one that I'm thinking is going to be a sweep. I mean, the Bulls, I feel like they showed that they have fight in them, and they're going to try some other stuff, and they do got a team that's kind of, they got two good rookies. They got a really good second year player, as in Patrick Williams. Um, the big thing is a lot of these players didn't get as much times with each other, or this Bulls team would be bigger trouble for the Bucks. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. I'm gonna go with the Bulls, because for a little bit the Bulls were just like killing it. The thing is when it's really when Giannis is on the bench, the Bulls just start dominating. So they just need to find a way. I think Derrick Jones Jr. probably needs to start. That's gutsy because he's a rook. But then again, he's one of the only players that has like size and just reach, like just all around length, as in the hands, just to guard somebody who's lengthy as Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo. I'm just calling him Giannis from now on. uh, Grizz versus Timberwolves, another one of their games. Is that another one of their games? Because I said I would go all the way to Friday. Um, yeah. So game three, that one's gonna be at Timberwolves. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say that Grizzlies aren't gonna. I don't. Man, this series is freaking hard, yo. I mean, but I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies again. I'm not backing down. Two Grizzly games in a row, and then with game three for freaking Gabagoo, even though it's tied, it's gonna be it should be at Jazz because oh yeah, well Dallas has got the home, so I'm gonna go with the Jazz. I just don't feel like unless Luka comes, but that unless don't matter. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Jazz. But man, the Jazz sure know how to blow their freaking leads. For God's sakes, man, I feel the Clippers is a team that should be in this playoffs, but it's the way it goes, buddy. Man, I feel like they would have given trouble to any of these teams, with Paul George on the court. It sucked during that one playing game. George had a pretty off game. I don't believe that he would have. Pelicans, man, I don't believe they deserve. I mean, they do deserve it since they won two games in a row, but I feel like that was the Clippers playing or playoff spot. But whatever. Nuggets versus Warriors again. Oh, this is the other guy. I feel like this is gonna be unless Jamal Murray or Um, who's the other? Michael Kidd? No, I was about to say Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Porter. If Porter don't come back, if Murray don't come back, I don't think they're missing any other big piece. One of their other guards came back, but still wasn't enough. They need somebody like with just Aaron Gordon is not really playing to his level, or just playing that number two role the way he should be. But we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna go with the Warriors, and I'm this series. I'm gonna say it's a sweep as well. So I got two series to sweep. I wouldn't be shocked if either series like somehow they find a way. This new NBA is like if you just have a really good 3 point day, and plus they got the former MVP or last year's MVP and probably potentially MVP for this year as well. So, when you have that, and you just need the other role players to play their way. Also, there was like some Demarcus Cousins and old boy were going at it. D. Cuz and freaking Willie B were going at it. So that wasn't too good. That shows you that they were all freaking frustrated. And Jokic got sent out. I think he got sent out the first game also. So not looking too great. Let's go to another game 3. Miami Heat versus the Hawks. Man, not watching the second game and just going off of whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and say Heat, even though I think I just said that the Hawks would win the other one. But oh no, I said Heat. I think I'm gonna go with three different series. Going with this. Actually, no, I don't see this. Just Trace when he hits that $40 to $50 players show up. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the game where the Hawks win it. So it'd be a 2-1 in that series. Bulls versus Bucks. Do I see the Bulls? Should I go three different times? If they disappoint me this time, then obviously I can't go with them. Go for Game 4, and then I would have to go with the sweep in Game 4. But I'm gonna go with the Bulls again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going with the Bulls winning two in a row. Um, and then our very last Friday game. Um, I'm gonna say that somehow, some way, the Pelicans, even though they lose Game 2, they somehow, some way find a way to win Game 3. I feel like this one could be easily a sweep too, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with it because they just look so like out of it. They just didn't seem like they could hang, which looked bad for them. But whatever. And then we got games on set for on Friday. I'm most likely going to come back and do another one, so that way I'll have some predictions for Saturday and Friday and a recap of whatever happened days after or before. You'll know, you know. But yeah, sabotage, yeah, ladies and gentlemen.